Hello, this is a video where I'm telling you my opinion on the Hobbit movies, especially the last movie, The Battle of the Five Armies. Let's just say that I loved Lord of the Rings movies, some of the best movies ever made. I mean, they changed the film industry and how we look at fantasy films and movies in general. And they were a huge, huge hit. I remember when they came out. And so, the Hobbit movies is that I never actually felt that the world needed Hobbit movies. I mean, it's like, yeah, they're fun. I've seen all three, and I enjoyed them enormously. I enjoyed the first one, the second, and the third one. But while I was watching the Battle of the Five Armies in the movie theater, I was snickering on my seat the entire time because there were some points in the movie that felt stupid, unnecessary, and sometimes the writing was incredibly bad. It was like bad fan fiction. I've read fan fiction, I've written fan fiction, so so there were some qualities that, were just completely out there. I couldn't sometimes believe it was an actual movie. But Battle of the Five Armies, anyway, was the movie that I probably enjoyed the best. I mean, I love the actors. The actors were incredible. But here are my points on the things that really bothered me. First is that, okay, this is more of a book problem. Why are there 13 dwarfs? Because of the three movies, I only remember Thorin, Kili, Fili, Dwalin, and Balin. And there are like 8 more that I have no memory of. I mean, I do not remember how they look or what their personalities are. By what I've understood, they are more defined than they are in the books, but I've never read the books, so as a moviegoer, I cannot be too sure. Second problem I had was with CGI. There was too much of it. I mean, of course, a lot of the Rings movies use CGI all the time, but they also used much more actors, much more actual scenery and props, and so they, achieved that kind of a good mix between CGI and the actual set. But the Hobbit movies, I don't know what was the reason. Was it the money? Was it a time problem? Or were the filmmakers just way too lazy? But there is way too much CGI. I mean, if you watched behind the scenes, documentaries, there is always green screen. Everywhere there's green screen. And to me that takes too much away from the magical quality. And let's just say, I'm sure in New Zealand you can find an actual old thick forest cat that can act as Mirkwood. I'm sure. But I don't know what is the reason. Maybe they wanted to just show that during the Hobbit the Middle Earth is much more, beautiful and pristine than it is in Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know what is the reasoning, but it really caught my eye, and apparently a lot of other viewers also. That slimy guy, Wormtongue wannabe. I still don't know what was his purpose in the story. It was probably to show that money corrupts people, but we have already Thorin showing that, so he was really unnecessary. And he tried to act as a comic relief. Poorly done comic relief. And he took so much time from actual important characters. So, who of the 3 writers that we assumedly had came up with Alfred and his excessive role in the story, but I was just so bothered with him. And the fact is that he had no redeeming qualities. He was just slimy all over. I mean, at least Wormtongue in the extended edition of Return of the King, he kind of became a good character when he killed Saruman. And you could see that Wormtongue actually, he had some goodness in him. He was not bad. I mean, he was bad, like but he was more of that gray area. He was like, it's like in Harry Potter movies there are Slytherins. They're not necessarily bad, but their actions may be not what the good guys would do as a first option. This is a big one for me. I never read The Hobbit again, but assumedly Hobbit had no female characters, and therefore they thought that in order to get females to the movie theater, they would have to have a strong, capable female warrior character. And I must say Jackson and others. I had other reasons to watch Lord of the Rings movies, and I never watched them for Arwen or Eowyn. Never. To me, as a woman, I am not bothered that we had no female characters in, Hobbit book. Not at all. I mean, it's like, I don't know what it is. Is this the feminist thing that women have to be equal to men? But personally, I am not bothered. I wouldn't have been bothered if Tauriel had not been in the movies. I mean, she's a good addition. I mean, as a character, she's a Mary Sue. She's a total Mary Sue. Mary Sue is a capable warrior, capable fighter. She is a moral compass to, leaders. She does the right thing all the time. She's beautiful. Tauriel has red hair. No one in the Mirkwood has red hair. And she's beautiful, and she's also a healer. I mean, as soon as she started showing that she's a healer, I was like, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. She's too perfect. And the main problem was that Tauriel killing romance. There were several reasons about it. First of all, it takes away story time from actual canon characters, like Thranduil. Thranduil is... I would have loved to see more Thranduil in this movie. And it takes away from Bilbo and other dwarfs. And it's like, then that romance has no grounds. I mean, how many times do Tauriel and Kili actually speak to each other? Like 1, 2, 3 times? I'm not sure. I never counted. But that's not romance. Okay, I believe in love at first sight. Totally on board with it. But here we are talking about two entirely different races. And they have like hundreds of years of hatred and mistrust between them. That cannot be solved in a couple of days. I mean, if they were talking about they were comrades, like friends or something, I would believe that. I would totally believe that. But I do not believe that they are actually in love. I mean, like romantic love, that they are sometime going to get married and have a bunch of little dwarf, elf, hybrid kids. No, I'm not believing that. Also, it really takes away from the Legolas-Gimli pairing. I mean, okay, I admit, the Lord of the Rings movies never placed emphasis on Legolas and Gimli pairing. It was Legolas Aragorn all the way. But Legolas and Gimli was supposed to be like this first great dwarf elf, friendship story between the two races. And it just, to me, it just takes so much more, meaning from the Legolas-Gimli friendship thing. And it just never felt natural to me. I mean, the dialogue was very cliche, like it is in the romance movies, like when Kili is standing on the beach and gives Tauriel the, rune stone that he had, and he's like, come with me, and Tauriel's like, I can't, I have to stay here. But there's one good thing about it. It really gave us a beautiful, beautiful song. Have you ever heard it? It's in the Desolation of Smoke soundtrack, Feast of Light. It's a very beautiful song, kind of like Aniron they had for Argon Arm.